What is up, Bears fans? You are very, very welcome to the Bears Huddle podcast, your UK take on all things Chicago Bears. Guys, we are back. We are ready to go. We are firing. Even though the Bears are not firing, we'll be firing here on the channel every day, every week, throughout this regular season. Hopefully into the playoffs, but look, it's not looking good at the moment, is it? And the news today about Jaylon Johnson and the wider news concerning the secondary of the Chicago Bears is not a positive one. It is not a positive message. And look, I'd love to come on here after that shellacking we took at the weekend against the Detroit Lions with a positive message, with something that's going to raise our spirits. But it ain't happening. It ain't happening, guys. You know why it ain't happening? Because Jaylon Johnson is out for the season. I know it says indefinitely, but it looks like he is out for the rest of this regular season. This is a huge blow to the Bears. Jaylon Johnson, probably the best corner in the NFC, one of the best one-on-one cover guys in the league, and he will be missing for the rest of the season. Now, look, we'll talk about the wider issues that may bring in a moment, but the news that Jaylon Johnson is missing is just massive. You know, this is a guy who is absolute super talent. You know, I think we all said that, didn't we? I think at the start that, you know, Jaylon Johnson, yes, was out. He came into training camp. He wasn't ready to go straight away. We could probably survive a couple of weeks, you know, without Jaylon Johnson, with Tyree Stevenson and Nashawn Wright, you know, backed up Nick McLeod, you know, those guys coming in, Jaylon Jones, that there could be enough to get through the first couple of weeks. But Jaylon Johnson comes back. I think he's been rushed back. I think the management and the fitness and conditioning staff need to carry some of the blame on this one. And he rushes it back and he gets injured again. And now he is gone for the season. And the Bears are currently assessing Jaylon to see if he needs definite season-ending surgery. I mean, this is not good. Now, whilst this injury is not 100% on the groin, apparently that is what we are hearing. It is apparently it is a new injury. That's what Ben Johnson has said. So it's not a groin. It's not the groin that he injured that kept him out of the start of training camp. It's a new injury. Apparently, it's a tearing of his abductor off a pelvic bone, which does not sound good at all. This is what was said. He said the other side of the top, it was compromised and now kind of affected now, talking about the top of this pelvic bone. So it's kind of everything as a whole in that region needs to get repaired. I'm trying to figure out where I want to go from there. Of course, the time trying to see what's the best option, who's the best option, what it looks like, the timelines and things like that. You know, this is not good at all. This is not positive news at all. Jaylon Johnson was also asked, did he feel that he'd been rushed back too quickly by the Bears to play after that groin injury? This is what he had to say. He says, I wouldn't say there was any rushing involved. I would say there was a sense of urgency to get back, but definitely no rush. I didn't do anything reckless. I felt comfortable playing. I know if I didn't feel comfortable, I wouldn't have played, no matter what anyone was saying. Now, in terms of his return date, again, Johnson was unable to be specific. He said, I would definitely say I'm trying to figure out what's the best move long term, because I feel like I don't want this to keep happening. Now that there's more damage to the area, it's like, how much do you want to try and just push on through? So it sounds like, you know, he's looking at his options. He's looking at his surgery options. He wants to obviously get a long-term solution to this injury. He doesn't want to be in a position where this injury is going to be coming back and a reoccurring issue that is going to keep him out of multiple Bears games for the future. So it is going to take time, and I think realistically looking at the injury as it is, looking at the injury as it stands, this very well could be a season ender. It could result in surgery. It could well be the end of Jaylon Johnson in the 2025 NFL season, which for the Bears is very, very bad news. Now, when you pair this with the news that obviously star nickel corner, my top man, Mr. Kyler Gordon, is also week to week and his return date is not yet known, you are missing two of the top corners from this team. You then add into the fact that, let's face it, Tyree Stevenson was absolute dog shit this weekend. He was pure, unadulterated crap against the Lions. He got absolutely cooked, fried, flayed, and burned by Amon-Ra St. Brown. He could not live in the same parish as Amon-Ra St. Brown. Tyreek Stevenson also sucked and stank against the Minnesota Vikings. Stevenson has, I think, come back. And yes, pre-season, he looked decent after what was probably a very mixed season last season after the bonehead move against Washington. But you come into this season, you look to step it up, Tyreek. You look to play well, Tyreek. You look to show us that you can step it up in Jaylon's absence and be that CB1. You have singularly failed that, mate. You have singularly failed that, brother. You have been awful. And this gives Ben Johnson, Dennis Allen, Ryan Poles a real issue that needs to be addressed. If you look at the secondary depth we currently have, moving away from the safeties for a moment, safety, let's face it, overall the safeties concern me anyway. Kevin Byard wasn't great against the Lions either. Jaquan Brisker obviously walks a tightrope as regards injuries. And when your backups are Elijah Hicks and Jonathan Owens, you do get very, very concerned. But, in terms of those cornerbacks, you look at those cornerbacks and you look at that depth. Tyreek Stevenson, obviously out. You look at the fact that, Tyreek Stevenson, not out, sorry, he is injured. You look at the fact that Tyreek Stevenson obviously has been absolutely flayed, fried and smashed on a regular basis. And you really do see there is a concern there. Who comes in and fills that role in terms of the replacement of Jaylon Johnson? Well, you're looking at, say, for instance, Nashawn Wright. Now, Nashawn Wright, yes, had that pick six, but has not been at all great in this season, has not looked like a top corner for me. So behind him, there literally is, you've got a choice, obviously, with Jaylon Jones to come in, possibly. You've got Nick McLeod. I know Nick McLeod is currently the backup nickel corner, but he could obviously play outside as well. But then you're looking at Josh Blackwell. But beyond that, you're looking at a secondary that is vastly devoid of options. You look at our cornerback room at the moment, you've got Tyreek Stevenson, who is pretty pants, pretty awful. Jaylon Jones, who has not really been used a lot at the moment. You've got Nick McLeod, who can play on the outside, but he's not fantastic. Terrell Smith is on the IR. Josh Blackwell, Zar Frazier is out for the season. Nashawn Wright is not great. This cornerback area is an absolute mare for the Bears. It is a disaster area. We go into a game against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the Dallas Cowboys, look, yes, they struggled to beat the New York Giants. Yes, they made Russell Wilson look like an elite level quarterback again. And, let's face facts. Their offense is good. Let's get that clear. Their offense is decent. Their offense is good. Their defense sucks. This could be a shootout against them, in the next game in the NFL. But the concern there is you've still got to cover George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb next week. Now, if you're going into a game where you've got perhaps Tyreek Stevenson, who has been cooked like a fool every single game, and you've got Nick McLeod possibly, or Nashawn Wright, or Jaylon Jones there, are you really super confident that you can cover CeeDee Lamb? You can cover George Pickens effectively in that game? I am not confident, guys. I am worried. I am concerned. I am just, beyond it now. This is a situation that Dennis Allen, that the rest of the Bears coaching staff need to come up with options, need to come up with ways to work around this. Now, also for me, it asks severe questions of our GM, Ryan Poles. Now, Ryan has obviously come in for an awful lot of criticism over recent weeks, months, years for his performance as the GM. Not one single draft pick that he has taken has proven to be that home run hit, has proven to be that guy where you go, wow, Ryan, you nailed it, brother. He has not nailed it. He's gone to hit the nail, he's missed the nail, and he's hit his thumb on several occasions. You look at it and you think, why didn't you address these issues in the off-season? Why didn't you look at where we had worries? You look at the depth at cornerback. Nashawn Wright is never going to be a top-level starting cornerback. Tyreek Stevenson is a worry, is a concern, is not a top-level cornerback. We are now going to go into the rest of the season with no Jaylon Johnson, with Tyreek Stevenson getting cooked like a fool, unless the Bears coaching staff can work a way around this. We need to find a solution. They need to do something. Now, obviously, November 4th is trade deadline. Do we go out and trade? Do we go out and find someone who can come in and replace Jaylon Johnson for this season? Because it looks like to me that is going to have to become something. With the fact that our pass rush, our edge rush is absolutely awful at the moment, and we can't get after the passer. We cannot put pressure on the passer. That gives the opposition quarterback the chance to really go after our secondary, which therefore means you've got to have a top level, no-fly zone type secondary, something we do not have at this moment in time. Now, this defense could very, very easily fall apart very quickly if those issues are not addressed, either through the coaching and organisation of Dennis Allen and the rest of his backroom staff, or through Ryan Poles acting quickly to replace these holes in the roster? Guys, let me know your thoughts. I am one very worried UK Bears fan. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. If you've enjoyed it, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And remember, bear down.